Life Church International, the Apostolic House, is taking a bold step of faith, introducing the Infinity Eastern Bypass Land Project, our mission to secure land for God's house, a place where generations will be transformed. To encourage your support, Apostle David Juma is giving a powerful gift. His transformational book, Restructuring Your Money. With every gift of only 2,000 Kenyan shillings, you receive this life-changing book, personally autographed by Apostle David, and you sow into a legacy of faith. Partner with us. Possess the land. Build God's house. The time is now.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good afternoon, good evening, maybe good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Gigi Report. I'm your host, Godfrey Gichuki. This is another amazing moment for us to have your favorite show, and I welcome you to join us. Let's have a conversation tonight. And those of you that are following from the social media platform, please share the links. We are live on Elevate TV Kenya. That is YouTube and Facebook channels. Please share and karibu, join us, welcome. This is your show tonight, this evening on Friday evening, and so we are so excited. And you know, I always say that all my guests are special. Today I have an extra special guest all the way from Seattle, USA, our friend Doris Magiri. She's here, and we're gonna have a very interesting conversation here. We are talking about mental health tech or technology, and you're gonna be hearing amazing stories here. So welcome to the show, Doris.
Thank you very much, Pastor Gigi.
I'm very happy to have you here, and thank God for those who linked us together. And you know, we want to hear from you, your story, and the many wonderful, beautiful ideas you have for us. So look at this camera and welcome all the guys in the US, in Nairobi, in Kenya. Yes.
Thank you very much. I usually like to start with breathing in. I tell myself, breathe in curiosity, breathe out judgment, breathe in positivity, breathe out negativity. So you are welcome here. There's no judgment zone. And what I'm about to share is there's a lot of vulnerability, and I have some nerves, but you're welcome here, and thank you for having me on this platform.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Welcome so much. I'm looking forward to our conversation, and I believe that we're going to learn a lot from you. And so we want to talk about mental health technology, and basically what we talk about is how we can use technology or tech-enabled platforms to advance mental health awareness. How can we help people, for example, who are struggling with mental health, you know, using whatever technology that is available. And some of you that are tech savvy, I am sure you want to hear what my guest has to say. And briefly, let me just introduce to us our guest, just give you a little bit of a background. I'm also going to ask her to introduce herself, but my guest is Doris Magiri. She lives in the US, and she's very much Kenyan born. Yeah, so Doris has many qualifications, especially in the area of technology. She has a master's degree in family and consumer science, that is resource management. That's more or less like economics. And she also did a BA in communication studies, that is from California State University in the US. So she did most of her studies there. She has actually worked for tech companies in California, Panavisions for 13 years, Philips Healthcare for a number of years. She'll be telling us about that, Blue Origin. And then Doris is the founder of a very interesting organization, and I want us to hear more about this, that is called Kijiji Link. Kijiji Link is an organization that actually tries to leverage technology to reach out and to spread ideas about mental health, mental awareness. And Doris now has begun working and reaching out to some of the people here in our nation. She just come from speaking to some students in some high schools in Kitui. She was able to have a very large group of students, of 1,200 students. She was able to speak to them about mental health, awareness, and why we should deal with the issue of stigma. So that's the kind of conversation we're going to have here, and I believe you're going to enjoy this conversation. So please invite your friends and let's get the conversation underway. So Doris, I've warmed
Yes.
the ground for you.
Yes.
You have no reason, even if it's your first time on TV, you have absolutely no reason to be afraid. You're going to be just fine. So, but to help get this conversation underway, I know I have said a few things about your background and all that, but you can fill us up. Just revisit that and give us that kind of background and how you ended up where you are.
Oh, that's a good story. So my life has never been linear. I've never followed the linear path.
Okay.
So for me, I never knew what I wanted to become when I finished high school, right, or university. So I just went with what was fun. I was like, oh, I want to be a journalist today. Tomorrow, I want to be a lawyer. Tomorrow, So I ended up in communications, but I had a professor who said, I think you should do more than this. You're too bright for this. And I didn't understand what she meant. So I went and tried family consumer sciences because I loved economics, but that didn't fulfill me. So when I started working for Panavision, I was still in my undergraduate, and Panavision, we build lens. We used to build, when I worked there, we build lenses and cameras for Hollywood. So I was in the Hollywood sphere, and that's when my passion for technology started. But I started counting parts in the stockroom. So I started understanding how to build it from scratch because I had to know where all the parts are. And from there, I kept on saying, give me more, give me more. So for me, I've always been that curious child. When I'm told to do things, I'm like, but why, right? I've been to 3 different high schools because I didn't fit in because I had to be in this box. So after Panavision, that's when they gave me the opportunity to build a system where engineers were using to put the drawings for the lenses and the cameras. So I was the one who did the digital transformation. They had blueprints for over 60 years. So I took 60 years worth of documentation and I had to create processes in a system that I had to sit at my desk and read a book. So I'm just good at connecting the dots, and that's where my love of technology started at a young age. And from there I kept on learning and learning on the job. And from there I moved to Seattle, Washington, where I started working for Philips Healthcare, and they build defibrillators for the hospitals. And there I was leading, by the time I left, I was leading 2 product lines, and I was a senior program manager. I had no idea about medical devices, but I also learned at the job. And by the time I left, I was leading worldwide teams.
Okay.
So from there, I went to Blue Origin, where they build rockets, and I was part of the enterprise technology team. And by the time I left, I was leading the agile transformation. So I've been, all the projects I've managed deal with technology. I've managed technology teams, but I'm self-taught. So as you said, in my credentials, my papers have nothing that say I'm an engineer, but for me, I'm a self-taught engineer.
Okay.
Yes.
That's amazing. I think I love that. I love that. And, thank God that you just followed just eased into some of these spaces. I like what you said that, when you left high school, you are just like every other person. You're not very sure what you want to do. Yeah. And maybe just, if people say we go and do this, we just go and do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of like find themselves in that kind of a situation. But then eventually you found your path, and
Yes.
And your curiosity took you into technology. That's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. So, how long has that taken? For you, all through. How many years are we talking about?
Over 19 years.
Okay.
Over 19 years. But everything is different. So as long as you have curiosity,
Yes.
you can learn anything.
Okay.
Right. So I had to learn how to draw on a engineer's software. So I was the one helping ensure that their software is working.
Okay.
I'm the one who had to ensure whatever they're working on is accurate. I'm the one who created all the documentation. So every part number in a lens, I had to know the configuration of it. So I even had to understand electronics. I had to understand what is a PCBA, what are reference designators.
Yeah.
So I had to know all that, because if I'm the one driving this technology, I better know that everything that's in that system is accurate. So at that time, I don't think I really realized how much I had built, because I think my parents brought me up to be very humble. You
Yes.
don't show off what you've done. So
Yes.
for me, just like, oh, anyone can do this. Oh, this is easy. But now that I'm sitting here and when I tell people what I've done, they're like, wow.
Well, yeah.
But for me, it's just like, oh, but it's just, I think there are times, I'm not saying everything was successful. There are a lot of dips.
Yes.
Because you see your friends are already earning the big money. You're still in the same job, but you're climbing the ladder. By the time I left Panavision, I was the director of manufacturing quality, and I started off as a stockroom clerk.
Yes.
So I never gave up. But it's disheartening when you try to look at others and everyone is doing so well.
Yes.
And what is success? The success is defined by society.
Yes.
But I define my own success.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we will return to that part of life where, how you size yourself up, how you define success for yourself. I mean, in this part of the world, here in Africa, if somebody has been successful in the U.S. of United States of America, no, we respect that. Here we think that's where we wanted to be, but
Yeah.
so
Success is anywhere.
but yes, you can succeed anywhere,
Yeah.
and you can define your own success. And success really is what you really decide and define what it is for you. And so that's amazing. Now, tell us about Kijiji Link, because you founded this, technology platform.
Yes.
Tell us about it. Tell us about what the vision is about, and what exactly Kijiji Link is supposed to be about. All right.
So I will start with the why and why I started it. So Kijiji Link came about when I had a mental break in 2023. Actually, this month, I'll never forget, June 15th, I had a mental break, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going on. So you're trying to send text messages to people you're close by, because it was midnight in Seattle, and I'm saying, this is how I'm feeling. But you're like, oh, what are you talking about, right? Everyone was dismissing me. But fast forward to after 1 year, when I was trying to heal, because I lost my memory, I didn't know who I was, and I was in and out of hospital for over 6 months. 6 months, I didn't know who I was. I lost sense of time. I lost sense of everything. So that's when I just started writing. I would just write. I didn't know what I was writing. But in my mind, I feel that God was talking to me, and people can say, yes, something, people will not believe that. But for me, when I gained my memory and I looked at what I'd written, I'd already had the mission and what I needed to do. So what is Kijiji Link? For me, I think of this Sankofa. It's a Ghanaian symbol where it's a bird that has its head turned backwards. And they always say you have to look at the back to inform the future. So I said, who am I? I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know my name. So I wanted to understand, where do I belong? Because I don't belong in America. I don't belong in Kenya. But I had to learn to belong to myself. So Kijiji Link is, I remember my grandfather or going home to the village, and how a society were always together. So Kijiji Link came from, I want to create what I did not have. I did not have the support system that I needed. The first broken system that we come from is our families, right? Families are good, there's good, bad, and the ugly, but that's where we're broken. We're made, we're created, and we're also broken there. But also the systems that were supposed to support me were not available. When I called 988, that's a suicide line, instead of getting help, they brought policemen to my door. The second time I called for help, they brought in policemen again. So you call 988, they come with guns blazing. So I did not have the support. And when you try to tell people I'm not okay, they think you're pretending. I remember I sent a text saying, I started remembering all the things that happened 20 years ago. And I have a sibling say, oh, forget that, that happened 20 years ago. But they didn't realize I'm in crisis. So Kijiji Link is building all these broken systems. You are a Kijiji, you are my Kijiji, because you're bringing your village, your viewers, to understand this story. The schools that I went to, that's another village. So I'm just linking multiple people to come work together. I cannot do it alone. So my Kijiji Link, why did I start it, is I started using Copilot, that's AI. I did not have language. I did not understand emotion. So I started using technology to tell my story, to tell my emotions. And the purpose or the mission of Kijiji is to integrate technology, my love for technology, and always create access, make sure people are educated on what is mental health. How do you help someone like me who was in distress? How do you help caregivers? Because when I got sick, my parents got sick. So it's how do we make sure that everyone in crisis is supported?
Wow. Wow, amazing, amazing. Now, if you're hearing Doris' story for the first time, it might surprise you that Doris actually had this major attack, kind of 2023, and she could not remember her name, she could not remember who she was, where she was, and she was in this kind of a dark fog in her life, as it were. It's like she had lost her mind. And you told me off the set that you used to communicate using pictures, and you could kind of like use AI to create images. And I want us to show our viewers, and I know the producer is hearing me, the guy in the background. Could you please show for us some of the pictures that Doris shared with us about how she used to kind of communicate? So you're going to see pictures right now. Maybe you are seeing them on your screen overriding this conversation. And those are pictures of Doris and how she was communicating, and some of the things that were going on in her mind. And people actually could not quite make what you could not kind of communicate properly in the normal sense, but there you are, but you still had to kind of make sense of the world.
That was the most toughest. It still is the toughest time of my life. Even till now, I was filled with shame. Even now, this is vulnerability, telling my story.
Yes.
There's so much vulnerability in that. But when I saw the pictures were my mirror.
Okay.
They were my mirror to say, because the images I drew were a representation of me, how I felt.
Yes.
And I'm glad that there was a tool, because I cannot draw. I can't even draw a stick or a tree. But with AI, I know how to enter prompts. I learned how to code on my own. So I could do that. For some reason, that part of my brain did not disappear.
Okay.
So I could still do things that relate to tech, but everything else of myself, I did not know.
Wow, wow, wow. Doris, this is really amazing that you were in this kind of a foggy situation. Now, let's talk about stigma and the things associated. Now, we are talking about the link between mental health and technology, and I'm sure already now you're getting a feel of what we are talking about, seeing the images you are seeing on your screen right now. So, Doris, if somebody loses their mind and we actually kind of like work out, this person has lost their mind, we don't know what to do with you. In this part of the world, we put you in a box of she's blown it, and we don't know what to do. We have there is very little the average person can do. And so, and I think this is a very traumatizing situation. Of course, we can take you to church and pray for you, cast out the demons and get you back to your senses. Praise the Lord that somehow you found your way out of that dark space. But Doris, tell us about the whole thing of stigma and how did you work that out? Because right now you don't look stigmatized. You are on the other side. So perhaps you have a good story for us.
No, there's still a lot of stigma.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Even when I had lost my mind, I still look like this. So if you see me, this doesn't look like someone who's lost their mind.
Yes.
When you see me, this doesn't, because I still kept myself, because I have love for fashion. You know, working in Hollywood, as a child, I always looked at magazines and I wanted to look a certain way. So I think what kept me alive is my fashion. Like I would just go and just put on my best dress and sit in my bed and sleep the whole day. But the stigma came because I sounded normal. I did not sound in distress. So sometimes I would talk and people think would be okay. Right now, some of my family members are not talking to me because I said things that were not me.
Okay.
Right. So there's that stigma that if you're crazy, you should look a certain way. And if you're crazy, you should be in Madare. But no, there are different kinds of mental illness. You know, some of us are more resilient in how we present, and some of us present differently. And mine was post-traumatic stress disorder. So I had so much trauma, that I had so much complexity that I hadn't worked through. So the stigma is still there. There are people who are not talking to me because of things that I said back in 2023. And I've tried to say, I am sorry, please forgive me. And some would say, oh, you're bipolar. Oh, you talk too much. Oh, you fight with everyone. Because I'm outspoken, because I'm not, they want to put me in a box and I don't fit in that box. So stigma is still alive and well. The only reason I'm here is because of God. God sustained me, and at Kijiji Link, the 3 pillars are my spirituality, the psychologists that helped me, my medical team, and the medicine I had to take to get back to who I am. Yeah.
Wonderful. Amazing story here. And I want to thank those of you that are following this conversation. I can see Joshua Musembi, official, is here tuned in, ready to learn. Maurice Moremi, I am really eager to listen in. Good job, Doris. So there are people that are following this conversation. I'm very happy with, you know, you are doing very well.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's vulnerable. It's very scary.
You're just fine. You're just fine. I told you you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Henry Mogeni, you define your own path to success, going against the matrix. You know, I think that's really quite profound. Thank you very much, Henry, for that comment. Joshua Musembi, and I'm really inspired by her story. Mary Joroge, watching. Gerard Mweta, glory be to Yahweh. There's there's something that is blocked by something here. Yahweh Rapha, who healed you, but how are you coping with inferiority complex? So we're going to be, we're going to be dealing with that, Gerard, and Enoch. Kito de Jija, I mean, my friend Enoch is watching. Enoch here, Faith today. This is amazing. Veronica, karibu sana Gashero, blessed. So Doris, your story is amazing for many reasons.
Yeah.
I don't know how somebody would be able to recover from whatever it is. I have no idea what you went through. I have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
The closest we have come is those images we have shared. You have shared.
Yes, yes. I have millions of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Doris, where you are right now, when you look back, I'm sure, and I guess that's why you started Kijiji.
Yes.
So before we talk about the technology and what technology we can use, let's talk about what so far you've learned and how this is playing out. When you share your story, what sort of reaction are you getting, and how is that? Are people connecting here, especially, or even some of the friends?
You know, I'm having goosebumps because of the memories. And I remember when I started trying to tell people what I'm trying to do, a lot of doors were shut. People like, don't tell people that. Africans will not listen to you. That's ridiculous. Don't say mental health in Africa. But I was given a platform at the African Internet Governance Forum in Tanzania, and that's African Union, and I was able to share my story, and I had people in the room come say, we need your help. A lot of people are killing themselves. A lot of people relate to my story because stigma silences us. Stigma silences us, and when I look back, I never thought I would be sharing this story because I had so much shame. I hated myself. I tell God every day, just take me. That pain was just unbearable. And the problem is, what I want to share with the world is mental health is a hidden illness. We go to see cancer patients, we go to see people with broken limbs, but you see this, you think I'm not broken, but I'm broken in so many pieces. But the God that I serve and the God that's in me makes me be able to share this story. So stigma is, I'm still recovering. I can't say it's easy, and what I want to say, the ups and downs. One time I'd think I'm good because now I'm on medication. I'm like, oh, I don't need to take medication. I stopped taking medication. I'm on a high. I'm so excited. I hit rock bottom so bad. I've been in and out of hospital because I thought, oh, I can go back to work. I go back to work, rock bottom. I had to walk away from a best career I ever had, a best job that I ever had, where we're building rockets, because I got sick. I couldn't tell anyone that I'm sick. I just had to leave the job. And I hid and I isolated. And that time you're still getting all these nasty messages from friends. Friends disown you. What did I learn? When you are in your worst, that's when you know who's your best friend, who's the best person to be with. And I also realized, even when I was in sickness, my caregivers were also hurting. My parents were also hurting. So this is a disease for the family, not just myself. This is a disease for the community. If you're the breadwinner of the community and something happens to you, what does that mean? So we need to treat mental illness just like the same way you go see cancer patients and pray in their bed. Why can't you call me and pray for me? Why can't we call and say, hey, let's pray. I might not understand, but I'm with you. So there's a lot of dehumanization that happens, and all the abuse that I got, the emotional abuse, all the names that I was called. If I did not have tough skin, I don't think I'd be here today.
Wow, wow, wow. I'm so blessed that the Lord pulled you through, and you're on this other side. You can talk, you can look back and kind of be able to talk about your story. Yeah. So those of you that are following this conversation, we are talking about mental health and the link with technology. I know we haven't talked about the technology bit, the link, how it works out. But so far, I'm sure you're following this conversation. My guest here, Doris, went through very, very dark corner in her life, but somehow she pulled through, and here she is telling her story and telling us that, look, mental health has its own challenge, but we do not have to stigmatize someone who is going through a mental health. We should treat them the same way we treat any other sick person. Now, and thank God that this happened to you while you're in America. There is health care there. There are people, there are systems. Well, let's say the public-oriented systems. But again, you still needed your friends to come through for you. And you're telling us about the challenge associated with that. So I know we are about to go for a break. Is there something else that you'd like to say before we go to the break?
No, I don't know.
Okay, all right. So we take a break. Yes. We take a break so that Doris can breathe in and out. And then after that, when we come back, now we're going to talk about technology. So we'll leave, that her story. But more importantly, she has developed a program which we can all learn and use to reach out to other people and also spread the one. So we'll talk about that when we come back. So take a short break, grab your coffee, invite your friends. Let's meet after 2 minutes right here. Keep it elevated.
We brought an amazing man of God that is speaking about the pastor and national transformation.
If we do not speak to the nation and help it with God's wisdom, which wisdom is left out there?
Oh, satanic wisdom.
A pastor is not only called to care for his own congregation, he is also called to care for his community.
This is something that gives instructions, encouragement, and counsel on the way forward.
The first way we must be involved in national transformation is to teach the nation. We have tools that God has given to us. Can we please begin to use those tools more than ever before?
Apostle Andrew Nganga from the Rema Missionary Outreach International is going to be speaking.
Welcome back. This is the Gigi Report, and we are talking about mental health tech, or rather the link between mental health and technology. And my guest here, Doris Magiri, she's actually a very well-educated woman. She's been in the tech world, Hollywood tech, not just every tech, but Hollywood technology. She's worked for some filmmaking companies, cameras and all that, and that's how she got into the technology side of things. And but she had this major episode, a kind of a breakdown, a mental situation where she lost memory of herself. She lost conscious of a lot of things, and she could not even communicate other than using images and all that. But thank God that she's come through, and she's here in the studio to tell us about your story of survival, how you overcame and came to the other side. Doris, your story is very inspiring. How then you learned to communicate using the technical, somehow your tech brain was still functioning, and you were able to use that to communicate. So tell us, if you're thinking about, for example, some of the skill set that you had that helped you like maintain some level of communication, and then how has that is working out with your program, the Kijiji link. So kind of show us how that works out and how you create awareness and some of the platforms that people can use to communicate about mental health and also reach out to others.
So I'll ask you again the questions in case I don't answer all of them.
Not a problem.
Yes.
I know I've loaded you with several.
Yes, I'm like, okay,
but
I was trying to keep up. Okay. What was the first question?
The first question is, so let's talk about how your tech side of things.
Okay.
You had this background in technology.
Yes.
And how did you work that out that you could now begin to communicate? And how did that play out? Why people able to get what you're doing? Did that help you out? For example, in soliciting for some help for yourself and things like that.
So what's very interesting, until today I'll never understand. I did not know my name. I did not know where I was. But I had a project that I had to finish. We were transferring all the engineers to the cloud based on the system that we were using. I had 11,000 users that my department, because I was in enterprise technology, was responsible for. For some reason, I'd go sit at the computer, talk to my coworkers, telling them everything that we need to do on my team. But then when I left that desk, I didn't know who I was. So I do not understand how that happened. And I think that kept me alive. that kept me alive because I had something to do. But then what made me so frustrated is when I left work, I didn't know myself.
Okay.
I couldn't drive. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't, like, I was a prisoner in my own mind. I was a prisoner in my own body. And what helped me is the love of solving problems, solving technological problems. So when I'm working on this project, what helped me is I could go and create programs or projects based on how I used to work with my teams. In Agile, we have 2-week sprints. That means each 2 weeks you build a product, a software product. Then you have a review. So I told myself, okay, each 2 weeks I will focus on something. Each 2 weeks I'll focus on trying to remember my name for just an hour. Each 2 weeks I do a retrospective. Retrospective is like, I'll go back and say, okay, how did I do this 2 weeks? So I had to do that in my mind, and writing and journaling was so important for me. So everything was all about writing. So anything in tech that I build, I put on myself. If I had built all these processes, I created a processes. So if I could not, so I couldn't drive. So I told myself I'll start by, because I was not using my phone, because I couldn't even use my phone. I said I will try a walk to the supermarket. So that would help my brain remember. Sometimes I wouldn't remember. And when I'm walking, I was so afraid of myself because I was afraid I would just throw myself at the cars to just end it. So think of all those challenges. I don't even know how I made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you built Kijiji.
Yes.
Have you been able to, like, you've applied it here in Kenya? Do you have other communities that you're working with in the US?
Yes, so Kijiji Link, I'm building it very different.
Yeah.
I'm building it, I call it a platform for survivors, built
Yes.
by survivors.
Okay.
And I'm building it very different. Everyone builds an app. So, oh, I'll build for you an app. I haven't talked to you. I don't know what you need. So I'm building it differently. What I'm doing right now is I'm prototyping. Yes, there's a platform, but I know where my vision ends. I know what I'm building, but I'm building very intentional. I took time in and out of hospital for 6 months. Half a year was gone. My whole life has 3 years have just passed me by, like, right? So I have to be very intentional in how I build it. So when I talk about Kijiji Link platform, this is a platform, this is Kijiji Link platform. It starts with talking. It starts with us having this conversation. I cannot build a platform that no one will go to it.
Yes.
I have to create awareness. And when I was in and out of hospital, what helped is we used DBT, that's called dialectical behavioral therapy. That helped me realize there are two sides of everything. I can be a good person, but can also be a bad person. So like, it helps you see your problems are not that bad, and it helped with a lot of coping skills, right? When we started, I say I'm breathing in curiosity, breathing out. So it teaches you so many coping skills of when you're in distress. Something as simple as tell me how many colors do you see when someone is in distress. So that's what I'm creating awareness. I'm helping people with coping skills.
Okay.
So right now there's a link, but it's not a platform yet because I have to collect the data. The data is in the people. We are walking technology. You're technology, I'm technology. We're all technology. We think that technology is this big thing. Who built the pyramids? Were they engineers? No. They're just the people who build the pyramids. So we overemphasize that technology, you have to have the papers for it. You have to go to school for it. I didn't go to school for it, but yet here I am, a tech founder, right? So you asked me how many communities am I working with. So in America, I'm working with my partner Ajima. She's a criminologist and she was also a former professor. And so we're working with Temple University, some of the students that were there. We're trying to connect with the University of Seattle in Washington. So those are the universities I'm linking. So I want to work with universities and high schools.
Okay.
In Kenya, there's a high schools I went to in Kitui. I'm trying to work with Embu University. I'll be going there next week. Muranga Institute Technical College. I'm also trying to work with, I think, MKU. They have a psychology department. So this time I'm here, I'm just trying to create those relationships so I can train the trainer. And if we train the trainer, the village can come together. So Kijiji Link is a framework. Think of a village. My house is Kijiji Link. Your church is a Kijiji Link. So I'm bringing psychiatrists, I'm bringing professionals. It's not just me. I have partnerships, and partners are part of those houses. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. I love the framework,
Yeah.
because you're saying that and even the idea that, you know, technology is not just machines.
It's not.
You know, even how we built, for example, the pyramids. You know,
Yep.
we Africans built the pyramids.
Yes, we did.
I'm,
Yes.
I'm appropriating the pyramids to myself. You know, how clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yes,
because
yeah.
we're built in Africa, we can just claim
We'll
built
claim
those.
it, yes.
We claim them.
Yes.
Anyways, but you're saying that ideas that we have are part of this ecosystem
Yes.
of ideas that we can use,
Yes.
you know, to have conversations, build awareness, and create the right links. And I love the fact that you're working with universities. I really wish you very, very great success. I have some friends in MB University. I hope some of them are listening to us. Thank you so much. Maybe just I want to read one of the comments here, or one or two of the comments. Joseph Miner here is saying, big-hearted, let's treat people with mental health sick, but not mad. You know, I mean, you know, because that word MAD is a stigmatizing word, and here, and I'm sure in the US you don't use that word.
No.
No, nobody can allow you to call somebody mad. No. That's an abuse, and that's dehumanizing.
It's very dehumanizing. Yes. We have. I'm human, so treat me as a human. Just because I'm sick, maybe you're sick and you don't know. At least I know I'm sick, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh no, I'm not sick. I'm healing.
Yeah,
let me
you're
rephrase
the
that.
healed of the Lord.
Yes,
Wonderful.
amen, yes.
Veronica Cachero says, I see a woman's society once tried to confine. I see a woman's society once tried to confine, but she works with a big God who has amplified her tech expertise to bring healing where silence once prevailed. D keeps shining, winning, and healing. That's coming from Veronica Gashero. Wonderful. Becky Beatty Braids, Wanjiko here. Mercy, there's something here which is missing, but I know why it's missing, because of my, mental health has no look. You know, that's very interesting, that somebody looking at your face, they can't tell you have a challenge. And maybe some of you are struggling, but Doris here saying that yes, even in your darkest corner, there is something that you can do. There is a way you can link with other people, and I'm so happy that you have created, or you're creating actually. And I like the fact that you're saying you are creating as you go.
Yes.
This platform to help people find healing and wholeness. All right. So let's see what else I wanted us to. There's a place you're talking about policies. Let's talk about policies. What are some of the policies and innovations that foster mental health friendly environment? What do you think? How can we, even churches, for example, create environments that are mental health friendly?
I like that question, and I struggle a lot, and I'm still struggling to find that we judge first. People don't listen. When I say I'm not feeling okay, people dismiss it. We need to start listening with intentionality, not to listen to judge. Africans were good at giving opinions. How about you just listen and ask questions?
You know, Doris, I want you to repeat that. I really want you to repeat that. You've just said something so profound. We judge first.
We judge first.
Just repeat it. Yes.
So listen with intentionality. Instead of giving your opinion and judging, listen and ask questions. Be curious, right? So for me, I remember one cousin telling me, oh, you asked too many questions. I'm like, but why should I give my opinion? I do not know. The reason I build technologies, I always asked a lot of questions. So how do we create safe places? Safe places are so difficult to find, right? I had to create my own safe space. I had to be okay with me. I had to become with everything that's broken in me. But it's not broken because God put it there. God gives us emotions for a reason. And I would cry, and I tell people, these are my superpowers. So how do we create safe spaces and policy? It starts with you. Speak up. Say, I am not okay. I would tell people I'm not okay, but you'd still get people judging you, saying, oh, but you fight with everyone, or you're so outspoken. But what's wrong with a woman being outspoken and saying what I feel? If I did not say how I felt, I would not be healed. I would not be here. So how do we create churches? There's God, there's psychology, and there's medicine, and these are traditions. How about we put them all together and put people at the center of it? Make sure that you ask the person, what do you need? Don't tell me what I need. I already know what I need. But there's some people who are in worse situations. How about by just giving them love? Just encouraging them, saying, I know things are hard. I might not understand what you're going through, but I'm here for you. As simple as that. Just see them. For me, it was hard because people will start problem solving for me. I'm like, no, I don't want you to solve my problem. Why can't you just say, I'm here for you. What do you need? So it first starts with being there for the person, because one thing is we isolate. And I remember being told, oh, you isolate, you're always isolating. But that person did not know I was suffering, because I could talk like how I'm talking, but I didn't know what I was saying. I would say things and I forget. So like now I was asking, oh, what did you say? Because I'm still healing from that. My memory is not back 100%. I still struggle. I have to write down everything. I have a calendar. I have to have my phone and remember, oh, I was seeing this person. So it's a daily struggle. But if you accept it, but have the right people to support you, it's amazing. But when you have everyone against you, or everyone that you thought should be there for you and was not there, healing takes longer.
Wow. Yeah, healing can take a long time if you don't get the help of the people. And so it's important. And I love the points you've raised about, asking someone what they really, how can I be of help to you? How can I help you? Don't just start prescribing. We all have this kind of prescriptive mindset. As soon as we have a small idea what the problem is, we want to solve it.
Yes.
While we can actually just ask questions and be there and acknowledge we probably don't understand what's going on, but and just let the person be able to come out and say, this is how I need some help.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed by that. And how can we use, say, technology to communicate, to build awareness? Do you think, for example, and AI, maybe what are the opportunities, for example, in AI, that maybe if somebody is working with people who are mentally challenged or who have some challenges of some sort, how can we apply the technology that is available now to build systems that can help both build awareness and maybe also help become like tools? The way we have Braille for people who cannot see. Do we have technologies that we can use for somebody to work out, to stimulate their brain or something like that?
So I partnered in the panel that I had in Tanzania. I partnered with Dr. John Welch. He studies the brain and neurology in students, in children, and they're using AI to understand the brain.
Yes.
So that's one tool that they're already doing it, and now research is faster, right? So when I'm researching for Kijiji link, because everything for me has to be science-based, it's faster now to do the research, but I have to back it up and make sure, is it okay? AI can be garbage in, garbage out, right? At the end of it, we have to center people in the middle. Are there tools right now that we can use? I used it for me to create images to share my emotion. They are there, but I have to say there are also a lot of risks.
Yes. And
we don't have policy surrounding that. There are no guardrails. So I always say use it with a grain of salt. So I would say let's first center the people and ensure what do we need? Because if you don't know, AI, you can ask AI, this is how I'm feeling. AI can make you feel more crazy than you are, because AI is not taught. It's not a psychiatrist. It's not a therapist. So as much as AI is good, AI cannot be your therapist.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's
it's
very,
not there yet.
That's very, very important.
Yes.
By the way, I'll tell you, Doris, the minute you start getting a few answers from AI, on a few things, you actually begin to say, oh, here is my doctor. Here, AI has all the solutions. So let's be very clear. You're hearing it from Doris. Doris is very tech savvy. And she has worked with in some of the most tech spaces. And so please as much as you know that AI can answer most of your questions, please don't turn it into a therapist, because it is not a therapist.
It's not.
Yeah,
it
AI
make
cannot
things
do.
worse.
It could make things worse.
Yes, it
Wow.
could make things worse. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so now let's talk about the African, you know, the African reality. The reality in Africa is, how do you deal with this issue of the way people in Africa are oriented? We are oriented around community, the Ubuntu.
Yes.
And the West has a different flavor. You know, it's a very highly individual autonomy sort of society. The West values individual autonomy, and it is you, about you, for you.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
How do you create that bridge? What do you see? How can we? Do you think there are advantages in Africa and disadvantages? How do you see this difference?
That's a good question. As I said, I don't feel like I belong in America. I don't belong in Africa. I belong to myself, right? So Kijiji Link is built in the frame, in the philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because you are, and in Kenya we call it Umoja. Individual. How I see how the West helped me is I had to understand myself. I had to take care of myself. I had to know what I need to do. So that shame is not there. Am I gonna eat, or am I gonna shame myself? Right? So if I know I am not doing well, I will say, this is horrible, I need help. But if I was with family, or if I'm in the African context, I can hide. I can hide in community. I can hide and pretend I'm okay. So I love the African context because of community, and I also love the individualistic. So how can they be merged together? It starts with you. It starts with one voice. It starts with Doris talking about her story.
Yes.
And through me sharing my story, it will, my hope is it'll create a catalyst of people not feeling the shame. So when we merge together, we have to have individual one-on-ones. Like when I was in and out of hospital, we had to do group work. So that was Ubuntu. We come together, and people validate you and help you see your problems are not as big as the other one. So that helped me. I liked that community. But I also had to see my individual therapist. So that's the American context, and Ubuntu is a community. So I'm trying to merge them all together. They all have advantages, because the individual one, I was so isolated. But then when I come here, I can be around everyone and not feel as sick. Then I go back to the isolation. So they all have advantages and disadvantages, but what Kijiji Link is trying to do is create a bridge and say we can have both.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that, because, you know, we value our community here in Africa. You know, the way African culture is oriented, we value the community. But you're saying it's possible for somebody to get lost amidst, you know, the communities, you know, and there is also the shame. You probably don't want to be the odd person out, struggling to find yourself. You can't remember your name. What's going on? You know, that kind of thing. So. And then the West, there is now the other danger, or the extreme side of it is the isolation, the individual isolation. So you could get lost there. But you found a way to link these two, that we can have the West will value going to a therapist. And those of you that are listening to this conversation, I think we want to remind you that if you are in trouble, don't just hide, don't wish it away, seek out for help. Therapy actually does help. There are people that are trained and that they can help, they can work with you, including taking medicine.
Yes. If I did not take medicine, I needed to take medicine, therapy, and I had to find my God, right? So those three were my pillars.
Right.
Yeah, right. You can be with God, but if you're not taking care of the other things, then what happens, right? So we like looking at just one thing and always saying everything is in a box, but no, there's no one rule fits all.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to, you know, you have to employ all these things together.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about your vision. Well, what's your vision? What do you see in the future? How do you like maybe people? Are you looking for partners here in this part of the world? And how can people partner with you? And how can others get involved in this programming? Would you like to see maybe more high school engagements and stuff like that. So tell us about your vision.
Yes. So we always say we don't have money, we don't have funding. I don't have funding. I started with surviving. And I'm helping other people. So yes, I'm looking for local partnerships. I'm looking for universities, because what I started doing, I created a men's group called MEMA, Men's Mental Magic, where I started working with the men, because the men don't talk about their emotions, right? I only have brothers, and emotion was tough to share, and they did not understand what I'm dealing with. So there's Men Mental Magic, but I want to work with technology universities. It doesn't have to be technology universities, but any university, high schools. I want to take what I've learned in the West, what I'm partnering with the universities in America, to create ways we can assess our children, assess like something as simple questions, and make it anonymous where they're not being singled out. My vision is, my hope is, let's talk about mental health as much as we talk about TikTok, as much as we talk about Facebook, as much as we talk about YouTube, because we're at the center of it. We can't let machine teach us or help us, yes. So I see a vision. I'd like to, how do they connect with me right now? The kijijilink.com is up. I'm also registered in Kenya, and there's a where you can connect with us to support, and let's see how we can partner together.
Wow. No, I love your story. I love what you're doing with, with technology and creating that link. I had not seen that actually you can apply technology in alleviating the challenges and trouble and the darkness of mental, challenges. Actually, I want to say, I don't have the right word, but you have the right word. And thank you very much, all of you that are tuned in, and thank you so very much. For some reason, I'm not able to access the Facebook page. Maybe you guys can send me the comments there if they are there. As I read some of the others here. Mary Joroge, learning a lot from Doris. Thank you so much, Mary. Nefat Mosheru, liking the conversation. Thank you so much, Nefat, for joining us in this conversation. Henry Mogeni, mental health is mental wealth. So that's very important. So Doris, what else do you think is missing in the conversation when you think about mental health, other than the stigma and maybe some of the tools that you can use in technology? What else are we not talking about?
We're not talking about where to get help.
Okay.
Where do we find help? We're not talking about, mental health is a term, catchphrase all, but there's so many different illnesses that are part of that. Without naming this person, they have a child who's 12 years old who's never spoken, and they're taken from school to school. He doesn't know where to go, where to take his son. So we're not talking about the caregivers that are suffering. We're suffering in silence. I know most people hide their children or back in the day people were chained. We're not talking about the impact it takes on caregivers or your parents or your family. We're not talking about then what? Then after I know I have it, then what? So we're not talking about aftercare, and that's why Kijiji comes in. We will link you to the psychiatrist and all that, but then we want to care for you after, help you carry on and continue talking and building community. Wonderful.
I love that. So you're saying that when we talk about mental health, it's a spectrum. So there are people who they are just distressed because of this situation in the family, a disability or whatever it is. But the big issue is the silence. So
yes.
Doris, we're out of time. I want you to look at that camera, and I want you to talk to people who are out there who probably don't know what's going on, but they know they are somehow in some kind of distress. And speak to them, and especially about silence, and tell them that they can reach out to someone as we wrap this up. Your parting shot. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining. This was a vulnerable space for me, and I would like to say it starts with speaking up. It starts with saying, I am not okay. Do not let the world shame you. God brought you here for a reason. Those emotions were put there for you for a reason. You are perfectly broken. You're perfectly fine. They say you're broken, but you're not broken. I had to so I think of the eagle, and I live with this. I think of the eagle. The eagle, once it lives up to 30 years, but it has to go to the cave to chop off its beak so that it can be able to live longer. So I had to cut off my wings so that I can let them grow again. I'm a different person every day. Don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be afraid of what the world tells you. Don't let the world put you in a box. I never let anyone put me in a box, and thank you so much for listening, and thank you for hosting me. I appreciate for giving me this platform.
Wonderful. That's a very good place for us to end this conversation. Thank you very, very much indeed for staying tuned in. I believe you have learned from my guest here, Doris Magiri, all the way from Seattle in the US, and a friend to my friends. And we're very, very happy that we can have this conversation. So may the Lord bless you so much. I've been your host, Godfrey Gichuki, and it's always my pleasure to bring you this show every evening, every Friday evening. We'll see you another time next week. Please stay tuned in and let other people join in the conversation. God bless you, and bye for now.